matter what, you want to hang through this whole video because I'm going to give you some concepts that I guarantee will help you to grow your business 30%, maybe as much as 200-300% over the next year if you really want to. And these are core principles that cause success in every business. These are the fundamentals that are necessary, and everything stems from them. And this comes from 20 plus years of experience out there with small businesses all around the world. And the bottom line is you want to pay attention. But before I start, let me just ask you this question. If I gave you $1.20 for every dollar you gave me, how many dollars would you give me? And the answer should be you'd give me as many dollars as you could. Matter of fact, you'd go out and find extra dollars just to get them if you knew that equation was for certain. Well, to me, that's marketing. The bottom line is growth in business is a scientific equation, and very simple math at that. It really is. It's a simple equation. But before I go too far into that, I have a couple concepts I want to ask you. And be honest with yourself about this because it's just you and I here. There's nobody else. And these are things that are going to help you. And one of the things I've noticed is that I'll share some of these ideas, and you may know some of these concepts. But if you say to yourself, oh yeah, I know that, what I really want you to do is stop for a minute and ask yourself, are you applying them in your business? Because I find a lot of people know some of these things, but they're not applying them. And if you're not using them, they're not having the impact they should. And the bottom line is your success is important. I want you to succeed, no matter what, part of TCA or not. So the first question I have for you is, what does it cost you to get a customer? Do you know? And be honest with yourself, do you know? And when I say that, you should be able to equate, in order to answer that, you should be able to tell me what you would spend. If you wanted to go and get another client today, what would you have to spend, exact dollar amount, to get that client? And that's why I asked you before, if I gave you $1.20 for every dollar you gave me, how many dollars would you give me? Well, the bottom line is in business and marketing and promotion, if you know what it costs you to get a client, then you know exactly what you can spend in order to attain that client. Well, if you know that cost, then it's just a mathematical equation of how many clients do you want, right? You just go and spend the money and you get them. Now, ideally, that cost should be a profit center for you. That's what business is about. In other words, if you're spending money and you're spending more money to obtain clients than you receive in sales and business and revenue coming in, then you have no business. You should be closing down. And if you're not tracking that, this is why you should be tracking it. But the bottom line is that's how business works. I mean, we all know that. We all can agree to it. It's a very simple concept, but it's amazing to me how many people are not following these simple principles. So the bottom line is, what does it cost you to get a client? You need to know that. And if you don't know, then you have no business doing any marketing at all. Because you're just basically, that's like driving down the road and throwing dollar bills out the window and hoping that someone will follow you to your business and give you some money for something. And that's ridiculous. We would never do that. So the bottom line is you've got to put mechanisms in place to start tracking and knowing. Now, how do you know? Now, when I ask you, what does it cost you to get a client? Well, for example, if you spent $5,000 on advertising and you had 5 people show up, and forgive me if this is very simple and basic for some of you, but it's amazing how many businesses don't follow this and really aren't tracking and doing any tracking and measuring at all. But the bottom line is if you spend $5,000 on business, on marketing, and you have 5 people show up at your business and make a purchase, then it costs you $1,000 per client to get them in the door. Now, depending on your margin and so on, you might be saying, well, that's crazy, especially if you're not tracking it. You might be saying, well, that's crazy, I can never stay in business. Well, yes, you probably can, because the next question I have for you is, what's the lifetime value of a customer? And you have to know these things. And hopefully you're writing these down. And you can rewind this video a couple times, go back and forth. Real simple concepts, but they're huge if you just track them. What is the lifetime value of a client? Now, how do you know that? Well, for example, if you have a hair salon, and let's say that somebody spends $50 on average when they come in to visit, then the next question is, how many times do they come back on average to visit? Okay? So if they come back 10 times in a year, that means that client is worth $500 to you over the year. So you can see in that equation, even if you took a loss, like say, for example, it costs you $250 in marketing to get someone in the door, And it looks like you're losing money because you're only receiving $50 per visit. But the fact is they come back 10 times a year, so they're worth $500 over a period of a year. Well, if it costs you $250, you just turn that $250 into $500. You follow me? And that's why I asked you that question in the beginning. If I gave you $1.20 for every dollar you gave me, how many dollars would you give me? Well, that's it. It's just that simple mathematics. But the bottom line is if you're not tracking and you're not measuring these things, then stop your marketing now until you get a mechanism in place to start tracking it. You need to know these numbers, because when you figure it out, then you know that you're spending $1 to receive $1.20 or whatever it is, even a break even, and you know where your money's coming from. Then it's just a matter of just implementing that plan over and over, as much money as you can, putting it into it, because it becomes almost like a cash machine. And that's what creates successful business. So with that said, if you know that a client is worth $500 to you over a period of a year, or maybe more, depending on your margin and your scale of your items, then you know that you could spend up to, if a client stays with you, say 2-3 years on average, you could spend up to the full first year's revenue on marketing to attain that client. Because there's other factors that you don't take into account, such as word of mouth, referrals, additional upsell items that they might purchase, because there's ways you grow your business, and I'm going to cover that in a minute. But the bottom line is, you can market to that person. You could spend $250, no problem, without worry, because you know the client value is $500. And with that said, that's why the equation with the customer advantage works so well, because we can take your offer, we can design something that you control. You take the pick and you decide how much you want to sell these items for. And we take something that normally would retail for, say, $300, $200, $100, and we cut it in half and sell it at 50%. And of course, on that first initial sale, you get 25% of the total retail price. So depending on your margin, that's where your cost is, your general cost is. But the bottom line is, it never costs you anything until a client comes in and makes a purchase. Your marketing, you have no cost for marketing up front. It's a guaranteed client at a guaranteed price. And that's beautiful, because it's measurable, it's trackable, and there's no risk. You know exactly what you're getting into right up front. And that's why the customer advantage works so well. The other thing that we do is we actually put you in front of that revenue stream that's already happening. Because here's the question for you. How many of your existing clients are already members of coupon or group buying services or that type of thing? How many of them do you think subscribe to something like that? And I'm willing to bet most of them, probably all of them to some degree. So the question is, when is the last time one of those companies that are doing those promotions ever sent you a check? And they sent you a check when those clients of yours actually made a purchase at another business in your community, maybe a competing business. Have you ever been paid for something like that? Well, the customer advantage makes that happen. So we give you the opportunity to get in front of a revenue stream that's already happening, but we're going to show you how to capture that. And the beauty of it is, it goes way beyond your own community. It can start in your community, and as you share this and they share it, it can go to other communities, other cities, other states, and all of a sudden you're getting paid. Even though you might be a muffler shop owner, you're getting compensated when someone is making a purchase and saving 50% on a haircut down the street, or maybe they told their cousin in another state and they're buying flowers at 50% off. And all of a sudden you're getting a check for that. Wouldn't that be nice? And as that network grows, that income will continue to rise. So you have multiple opportunities for income with the customer advantage. So here we are. I'm going to go back to my promise to you. Now, first of all, I want you to really look for something that you can offer in your business so we can drive some business to you, and get with the person that invited you here and talk to them, because we can design it. You can set all the parameters, all the limitations and possibilities of your offer with us. You can totally control it. We're here to help support your business, to help you grow and do it in a way that's going to be sustainable for you. We're here to partner with you, so to speak. We want to help you become successful and get more clients. And we're really focused on the local small to medium-sized businesses. We're not going to put the box stores and all the others in competition with you. We want you, the local small to medium-sized business owner, to be successful. Now, here's the other thing. I want to cover with you right now 3 critical factors that you must think of when building your business, because these are the only things that will add to your bottom line. Everything else is noise. A lot of times you get highly distracted in your business with all these tactics and strategies and all these, social media this and that and all these different ways to drive business and so on. But the bottom line is there's only 3 things that you can do to increase your revenue in your business. And you want to write these down. Now keep in mind, you can rewind anytime you want, but here they are. There's the first thing, which is number 1, focusing on getting new clients, new customers. I mean, that's obvious. As you have new customers and clients, your business and your revenue grows. Now, that also depends on how many people you're losing. In other words, what's your attrition, but that's a whole nother conversation. But retention of customers is important, and then adding customers. Okay, that's the first thing. Now, the second thing that you can do is increase the price point. Like, for example, increasing the number of customers you have by 10%, and then maybe increasing the amount of the price amount by 10%. So now you have an increase in revenue that way as well, increasing the price point of your products. Now the third thing is increasing the frequency that those clients come back. In other words, if you take each client, increase the number of visits they come back by 2, you've doubled your revenue, right? So you can see each one of these components, it's stacking on top of each other. And you should write this out because you can it's a multiples of growth. First of all, what if you increased your client base by 10%? So for example, if you had 1,000 clients and you increase it 10%, you now have 1,100 clients, right? So you would have your revenue growth from that. But then what if you increase your price of your products by 10%? So now you have 1,100 people, not 1,000, buying at a 10% increase. So you're adding a magnitude there of growth as well. Now, what if you also increase their frequency by 10%? In other words, you took 1,100 of those people and had them come back 10% more. You can see how this is all stacking on top of itself, and it becomes pretty dynamic, and you can easily, at minimum, increase. If you just focus on those 3 things, you can easily, at minimum, increase your revenue by over 30% this year. Now, when you start stacking it on and adding more clients, increasing the amount of purchases, you can increase the frequency. You can also increase the volume. That's a 4th thing that you could add in there, and arguably an important one. You can increase the amount of the purchase. In other words, someone's buying, like when they came in, they bought only 1 item. Well, now they're buying maybe 10% more, 1.5 items or a new item that you've added to the menu that they can make a purchase on. Some type of an upsell or something like that, if you want to call it that. But those are it. Those are the 3 things, and everything should fall into those categories. Increasing the number of customers, increasing the price point of your products, increasing the frequency of visits of your clients. Now, you focus on those 3, you'll have incredible success. And that's it. So, come back once in a while because we'll have some good stuff. And when you become a member of the Customer Advantage, we have a back office for all of our business members that will continue to share ways to improve and grow your business. But the starting point is to get you in there and let's get an offer out there. Let's get something promoted. Let us show you additional ways. We can show you other ways to promote your business with 0 risk, where you can generate more revenue for your business. And the field coordinator that introduced you can certainly start sharing some of those ideas with you. You also have the opportunity to share this with other people and help do promotions, and we'll pay you. We do not do any traditional type of marketing. We do everything through word of mouth, and we reward people for word of mouth marketing. And I believe this is the most powerful form. It is the most trusted form, and it's the most beneficial. So thanks for coming here, and I'm glad that we could have this conversation, and hopefully these ideas will have an impact on you. And I know they're simple, but don't overlook them. These are incredibly powerful. Some of the most powerful things you'll do in your business are the most fundamental and core key components that make a difference. So this is the place to start. Remember, increase the number of customers, increase the frequency, increase the percentage of the price. So that's it. Thank you. And this is John Milanoski with the Customer Advantage. Make it a great day.